It's taking forever.
It says we're live in the top left now, but I see just us four in the Zoom still.
There we go.
All right.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to the next hour. We have one of our favorites here, Lucid Software. One of my personal favorites because I do work at Lucid Software, and I think it's one of the best companies ever to work for. So I'm going to turn it over to our team over here at Lucid. And if you have any questions, please put it in the chat. If we get some time at the end, we will definitely throw those questions out. So with that, take it away, Jana.
Great. Thank you so much, Lynette. We love having you at Lucid as well. I'm Jana Johnson. I lead our talent acquisition team here at Lucid. So we do all of the hiring and we have a lot of positions to fill. So I'm excited to introduce to you McLean Smith and James Judd. And they're going to be talking about some positions that we're looking for right now. And then we'd love to answer some of your questions. So I'll let first James introduce himself. If you want to tell us a little bit about you and your role.
Sure. Hi, everyone. My name is James Judd. I'm an engineering director here at Lucid Software. I've been with the company almost 6 years. I joined 6 years ago as an individual contributor and have worked on a lot of different parts of our code base front to back. I made the hard choice of picking between individual contributor and management and decided to move into a more people management related role. And I currently work with all of our internal facing engineering teams. So I work with site reliability engineering, performance, dev tools, various teams like that. My latest role before moving into this was I spent a few years in site reliability engineering, being on call, being woke up at 3 a.m, various things like that. So that's more or less me in a nutshell.
Awesome. Well, we appreciate all that you do. And thank you for being here for 6 years. McLean, I'll turn the time over to you just to tell us a little bit about your role.
Hi, everyone. I'm McLean Smith, excited to be here. And I can't beat James's beard here. It's amazing. We call it the COVID beard. So if you want to join Lucid, you gotta live up to that. So a little bit of background on myself. I've been at Lucid for 3 years, 9 months. It's been a fantastic ride. And currently direct the sales efforts on our small business segment at Lucid. So happy to be here.
Thank you. Yeah, so if you don't know much about Lucid Software yet, we're located in South Jordan, Utah. We have some other international offices and we have about 650 employees worldwide. And we're continuing to grow. We'll probably add another 100 people by the end of the year. So we're very fortunate to be continuing to grow during this time. And I know a lot of you are looking for new roles and new opportunities. So we're super excited to tell you a little bit more about what we have to offer. Back in March, Lucid was actually valued at $1 billion. So pretty crazy that we were able to grow so quickly to this point. We've been around for almost 10 years now and just have experienced tremendous growth. So we're really appreciative of our customers and all of our great employees. We have 2 products. We have a product called Lucid Chart. That's sort of our flagship product. It's a charting tool. And then we have Lucid Press, and that's used to lock in brand templates. So 2 very great tools that we sell, and we work with a lot of amazing customers. Maybe McLean can talk a little bit more about that since he's on the sales side and some of the customers that we've interacted with. But we are hiring mainly right now in our engineering and our sales teams. And so I'll let McLean start with some of the sales positions and just telling you all a little bit more about what we're looking for there. And then we'll talk a little bit more about some engineering positions.
Great. Thanks, Jana. So we, like Jana was mentioning, we're growing. So we have a lot of positions to fill. To give you context, when I started almost 4 years ago, we had 180 employees. Now we're well over 600. So really exciting time at Lucid. So with that backdrop, we're hiring in essentially every team. So all the way down from the enterprise level. So our enterprise account executive team, down to our corporate account executive team, And then in my division, the SMB sales account manager, and then inside sales representative and BDR position. So to break those down a little bit, on the enterprise side, we're looking for individuals that have a lot of SaaS sales experience, 5 to 10 years in closing experience, working enterprise deals in Fortune 500, Fortune 1000 big businesses. So we have a fantastic leader here. I wish you could meet him, Keith Tanaka, and Kyle Parker head up the efforts in those areas. And that's a fantastic position. Great leadership in that division. In our corporate account, this is to give you context, the size of the businesses you're working with. You're working with 200 employee all the way up to 2,500 employee businesses. So a very large swath of businesses that we work with, and it's an AE position. So set to full cycle sales, working with large organizations, contract negotiation, all that good stuff. So really awesome position, and great team there, led up by our VP of Sales, Peter Chun, a great mentor of mine and an individual that I look up to. And then in my org, we're growing very quickly in the sales account management space. Looking for great people. We have we'll hire up to about 5 people in the next few months. So we've got a ton of opportunity in on our team. Inside sales representative. This is a great opportunity to work closely with enterprise account executives. You work in tandem with cracking into some of the largest accounts, and it's a closing role as well as a BDR role. So your development, but also closing some of the subsidiary accounts and working to build momentum in those accounts. So it's a great position to get some enterprise level experience. And then our BDR position, sales development, you're working closely with the corporate team. You will prospect into businesses and help drive account penetration and sales. So we're really excited about those positions. Feel free to, in the comments, ask any questions and we can dive into specifics.
Thanks, McLean. Yeah, and then James, if you can just go over some of those engineering positions that we're looking for.
Sure. Hi, everyone. So we are looking for software engineers, more on the senior side of things, 3+ years of experience. And we're looking for full stack software engineers. So there is a more specific role about infrastructure that I'm going to talk to here in a moment, but let's start with just the general full stack, like software, more senior software engineer position that we have available. So we're interested in 2 things, like smart people who can get things done. And I say that a little bit flippantly, but a little bit seriously as well. We're not looking for experience with a particular framework or language or tech stack or, a cloud provider, various things like that. We figure that you're a smart person, and that if you did something in C# you can do it in TypeScript, or if you did it in Java you can do it in TypeScript, or various things like that. So we figure that part is less important to us than a track record of being able to come up with good solutions to challenging problems, being able to own those from ideation or wherever you got involved all the way through deployment or wherever you stopped being involved, as well as being able to communicate effectively with stakeholders throughout the process. So that's kind of what we're looking for is again, I mentioned, kind of boiled down, smart people who can get things done. So let's talk a little bit about our tech stack. We are a company that has a very large web application. I'd say as far as web applications go, probably one of the biggest single page applications on the planet in terms of just like number of lines of code that we shove into a single deployable target. So what I'm referring to here is the Lucid chart and Lucid Press editor. That is all done in TypeScript. So it's TypeScript on the front end. We use Angular for all of our menus and other pages, and all of the Chrome, so kind of the menus and things like that around the editor. As far as the actual editor itself, that is a canvas that we render to using WebGL. So we do all of our own rendering. We want things to be pixel perfect across devices. And the way that we get that is we do our own rendering, which comes with all sorts of fun challenges. You're doing rendering in a language that has automatic memory management. So you don't get to control it as well as say if you're in something like, C++. So that comes with all sorts of fun challenges there as well. So the front end is primarily TypeScript with Angular using WebGL for rendering. We do have a fallback 2D canvas renderer for those people who don't have graphics cards available in their computers or laptops. So moving on to the back end, we're hosted in Amazon. So we run in AWS. We use Scala. We have a bunch of Scala microservices. So we split things up, by domain, user service, document service, font service, image service, things like that. We a very, very long time ago we started out in PHP because you're like, how did we end up on Scala? That's not a super common choice these days. So we started out in PHP several years ago and said we wanted to migrate to something else. This is probably around 2013, 2012, 2014-ish. And that was right when Scala was very, very popular. And we made the decision to move to it as kind of like a better Java. And it's been fantastic. So I make the joke that you can almost write Haskell in it and you can almost write Java in it. So depending on where you're at in the code base and who you're interacting with, we have a little bit of both, but tend to fall more on the kind of the better Java side. It's been a lot of fun, really fun language to work in. Very few people have experience with Scala coming into the role, so don't worry about that. And very few people have experience with TypeScript or like, quite frankly, JavaScript at the level that we're using it. So don't worry about that either. So a little bit of other details, Git for version control. We do all of our building using Bazel, which is Google's build tool. And if that, like you were excited hearing that we use Bazel, like I'd love to talk with you. I work with our DevTools team and we love to geek out about build. We use Chef for configuration and machine management. And I think that's more or less it. So that's kind of just like the general software engineering position, kind of giving you an idea of the tech stack. We do code reviews. We do continuous deployment. Code goes out twice a day for some things and within 15 minutes for other things. There's a few legacy targets that still aren't, but by far the majority of code goes out continuously. So lots of really, really great stuff. It's an awesome environment to work in. Lots of very collaborative people who care about getting out great solutions to users rather than their ego. So that, again, that's kind of the general software engineering role, the technology, the environment, some of the tooling, things like that. We're also looking for a senior site reliability engineer with an emphasis on infrastructure. So this role is similar. You'd be in the engineering org, but you'd primarily be focusing on the infrastructure, machine configuration, et cetera. So you'd be working with AWS, Terraform, Chef, Splunk, Datadog, various tooling like this to do monitoring, infrastructure deployment, updating, all this wonderful sorts of stuff. There is an expectation that if there's a challenge in the application, that you'd be able to work with an engineer who has more context on the application through something that may be through a problem that may be more related to, say, the infrastructure or the network or the JVM or something like that. So that is a position that we're looking for someone more senior, someone who would potentially have the ability to help build out our infrastructure like motion at Lucid, kind of that team inside of engineering and hopefully eventually a department inside of engineering as we continue to grow. So those are kind of the main roles that we're looking for inside of engineering. And if you're interested in reaching out, like I'd love to chat, love to take a look at your resume, all that sorts of stuff.
Awesome. Yeah. And I'm just about to drop this in the chat. So there's our website you can go to see all of the positions we're hiring for. It's golucid.co/careers. So feel free to take a look at that and we can get your resume in front of these awesome leaders that are here with us. And I think, we just wanted to also kind of emphasize why we like working at Lucid. I've been with Lucid for just over a year now. I really love the people. I love that we really are in touch with our values here. And it feels like the leadership really does take care of every single person on an individual level. They know who everyone is and they just really want us to succeed. And then I really like that, people that work with James specifically, they're working to get out new code quickly, and they're sort of really passionate about what they're doing, and so I really appreciate that. And then just have great salespeople. We're growing like crazy, like 50% year over year. So very exciting time to be at Lucid, and I think that mainly it's just about the awesome people that we work with every day that are definitely smarter than me, that kind of lift me up and make me want to do a better job and continue to learn and grow in my career. So that's a little bit about why I like to work at Lucid. McLean, maybe you can talk a little bit about maybe why you joined and why you stay here.
Yeah, absolutely. So um, it's guys like James, Jana, like just listening to James talk about those positions is proof of why I want to keep working at Lucid. Just a total stud. And I think what's really important to me, and when I think about individuals that we bring in, Carl has a mandate, our CEO, when you interview individuals, that person should probably be able to take your job someday. Like it needs to be that high of a caliber person. And when I think about the individuals I work with, I'm just so inspired by the work that they're doing, the change that we're making in the market, and the way that we're influencing businesses, and the way that people are collaborating and communicating. And I love being a part of that vision, to change, to make a dent in the world, if you will, a positive dent, to change the way people are communicating. And it's so fun to be a part of that. It's also, when you think about Lucid, it's more than just a job. It's really, the people that you're working with, mentorship, coaching, training. At least, on the sales side, we really focus on helping develop individuals. Like, my hope is that when somebody is done, they're working through the sales org and they're being promoted, that someday they can take those skills to another position and crush it. And I feel that strongly, that it's about the development of the people and the relationships that we make. And so that's really the environment that you would be coming into at Lucid.
Awesome. What about you, James? What's kind of kept you here over the years?
Sure. So I think the easiest way to answer this is A, I'm going to echo a lot of what everyone else has already said. And B, I'll tell a little bit about how I got to Lucid and then why I stay here. So I thought for sure I was going to end up in Silicon Valley. I was interviewing heavily out there, and a friend said, "Hey, I know the VP of engineering over at Lucid, and I'll send over a resume if you send me one." So I did, and I wasn't expecting much. And I was very pleasantly surprised. The people here are all very, very, very smart, which I really enjoy. I love never being the smartest person in the room. It is frequently challenging me to grow as a person, as a leader, and as an engineer. It's fantastic. Beyond the people, there is a willingness to be innovative, including bleeding edge when necessary. And that has been fantastic. I got this from when I was interviewing, and it's been true since I've been here. So year after I got here, we adopted WebGL back when it wasn't super popular or super known. And we said, well, we need to make the renderer faster. How are we going to do it? WebGL. We adopted Angular 2 the week it came out of alpha. So it was in beta, and we rewrote a major part of our product in it and worked heavily with the team at Google to kind of get to where we needed to go, because we evaluated options and said, this is where we want to go. And we migrated a huge chunk of our code base to TypeScript over a hackathon. Like, a lot of very, very competent people who are not afraid to kind of do bleeding edge things, to kind of take the browser and push the boundaries of what's possible in it to deliver that desktop application style experience. So there's a lot of challenging problems to be solved there. And I love the fact that we got smart people who can, and that we're willing to adopt bleeding edge enough technology when necessary to make that happen. I would say the third thing is that a lot of people are here are just like super, super collaborative. Like, it's their teamwork over ego is one of our core values. And that is just super important to me in a workplace. And I think it makes it so much easier when you can go into a meeting and you're not going to get stuck in a political turf war. You can actually focus on the best solution, getting something out the door that's going to benefit users, and how we're actually going to accomplish that. I really, really enjoy that. All these things combined with a business that's done very, very well over the years is what keeps me here. But I got a little bit of these glimpses of these when I was interviewing and chatting with people and interviewing people. Granted, the company was a lot different back then. It was 50 people big, but I turned down and stopped interviewing in Silicon Valley and said, I'm going to stay here, and it's going to, at the very minimum, it will have less traffic, and the cost of living will be cheaper, and we'll see what happens. I can go play in the mountains, and I've really enjoyed staying here, and I plan to, and it's been a whole lot of fun. So that's kind of why I'm here. It's like the people, the innovation, the teamwork over ego, and combine that with a business that's doing well and I believe is going to continue to do great. I think it's where the magic happens.
Yeah, that's so awesome. Yeah, and our teamwork over ego value is one of those that all of our employees say, that's my favorite value. It really is true about Lucid. So that's awesome. And I think, I wanted to mention as well that if there's anyone that's interested in internship positions that are listening right now, we're going to start hiring for our 2021 internship soon. So we'll be visiting a lot of campuses. Obviously, it's all going to be virtual this year, but we are going to start taking applications. And if you're still in school or just about to graduate, it's an awesome opportunity to kind of get your foot in the door. And I know we've got a lot of questions already from you guys, so we'd love to start getting to those. Lynette, do you want to go over some of the questions that we're getting in?
Yeah, that would be great. We've got quite a few on looking for specific jobs, but I'll try and group those all together. One of the first ones here is, what kind of development methodology do you use? Example, Agile, Scrum, Kanban.
That's a really good question. So we do Agile with 2-week sprints. It is not tied directly to our release process, but it is slightly. So it used to be like a sprint equal to release, but as we've moved more towards continuous deployment, that's no longer the case. So as far as development methodology goes, 2-week sprints. Monday morning, you'll have a sprint planning, decide what you want to do on the current sprint. You'll talk about, what happened last sprint, have a retrospective sort of thing like that. Have a stand-up daily at the end of the 2 weeks. You'll meet with engineering leadership and company leadership and stakeholders on your project, and you will have a sprint review, and you'll kind of show off what you've done, or if you can't actually show it off because it's more metrics and things like that, slides also work for some things. And that's more or less that. So the release cycle, how it relates to that is every Monday for everything that's still non-continuously deployed, we cut a release candidate branch. And then on Wednesday morning, that goes out after a ever shrinking, thankfully, manual regression. But almost all of our code these days goes out either 9 a.m. and 3 p.m. or something like that. And then, or just 15 minutes, after you merge it, provided all tests and builds and things like that have passed.
Great. And we've had several questions back on the internship. So would you hire recent graduates? How about interns that live in Canada? How about also just in general hiring people that are foreign nationals?
Yeah, those are great questions. We would hire a recent grad. You would have to be in the US or another location of ours, like in Australia or in Amsterdam. So unfortunately, we're just not set up to hire in Canada. And then we do sponsor visas, and everything's case by case basis, but that's one thing that we don't really put a cap on. So we're able to sponsor an unlimited number of visas, and we love to have international students that bring a different perspective to Lucid. So those are great questions. Anything to add to that, James?
No, I would say for engineering, we hire a lot of interns coming out of school, typically over the summer, but in the past we have been able to make fall and spring work, but by far the vast majority of our software engineering internships are over the summer. And we've hired everyone from people fresh out of high school to seniors going into master's programs or people in master's programs. It really just what we're looking for is smart people who get things done. And I like to think that we provide a very, very, very good internship experience for our interns. There's no special intern projects on something that's never going to see the light of day. You join a Scrum team. Sometimes the Scrum teams are specially formed for the summer to get something done, but oftentimes you're just joining a normal, software development team, and you're just going to do the daily work. It's a little bit more expensive for us to do that because it takes longer for you to onboard. But at the end of the day, we think it's a better experience for us overall and a better experience for you, especially because you get to join a team, work as a normal software engineer would. The only difference between you and the new grad full-time hires is that you go back to school at the end of the summer. So.
And we have a lot of fun too.
Yep.
Gonna do hackathon and lots of different events. Obviously, they've been virtual this summer, but yeah, we make sure our interns have a lot of fun, get some cool swag, and tons of great experience, like James said.
And real quick before we jump into the next question, I do want to. Jenna mentioned the hackathon. I do want to go over that a little bit. So we do this annually. It's 2.5 days, and you can kind of do whatever you want related to the product. And we've had some people who've done some really fun things, like they built asteroids in the product, kind of more, on the fun side of the spectrum. We've also had some people do some things that have been made it into the product. Projects make it into the product every year, but then some that have been like major initiatives at the company afterwards. Our data linking feature originally started in a hackathon. We had a team that using some automated tooling, but then kind of doing the last 20% manually, got us from JavaScript to TypeScript in a period of almost 72 hours. They finished it over the weekend, but still, like, that was several 100,000 lines, if not millions of lines of TypeScript or JavaScript that moved to TypeScript in a short period of time at hackathon. Like, some people have done some incredibly amazing things. Some people, they want to go home and sleep, and they still do amazing things. Some people, like the people who move to TypeScript, they don't sleep much. So overall, it's a great experience. I enjoy participating in it every year.
Great. So we have several questions about people coming out of boot camps. One is, people that are beginning web designers, interns coming out of boot camps. Also, another one that was people coming out of boot camps. Is a degree in a different field still a positive thing? Can you touch on that?
Sure. For the second question, what was the second question about having a second degree, but then also, or a different degree, but also doing a boot camp?
Yeah, it says, with so many people coming out of boot camps, is a degree in a different field still a positive thing?
Okay. So to answer the question about boot camps in general, so as I mentioned earlier, we're looking for smart people who can get things done. And for our entry-level positions, which typically start in the summer, which we'll start recruiting here for this fall, kind of goes, fall with the school year, and then people start with the end of the school year in the summer. Those are where that would, like, kind of a boot camp grad, would more likely end up than, say, a senior software engineer position. Boot camps tend to do a pretty decent job, in my experience, of teaching you how to solve some class of problems with some particular language. But oftentimes we find that students that have gone through a boot camp lack a theoretical foundation in algorithms and data structures that makes their life, when you're working on something like, a renderer with lots of distributed saving algorithms, things like this, to be a little bit more, it's kind of necessary in a lot of ways. So it's not impossible, but it is more challenging. And I think that it really depends on the boot camp. There are some boot camps and programs like it that do a fantastic job and produce fantastic graduates. And there are other ones that do not as good of a job. So I think that it really, again, at the end of the day, we're looking for smart people and get things done. And that's the most important thing. As for the second question, is having a degree in in an irrelevant field worth it? Well, it depends on the degree in the field. I think that we've hired people who have physics degrees who also, programmed, or math degrees who could also program, various things like that. And they come in as full-time software engineers and have done fantastic. We've interviewed, several mechanical engineers who've done the same. Chemical engineering is another common one. I think if it were to be something that were less related to engineering, it is more challenging, as the experience where you won't have necessarily the background in algorithms, data structures, programming, etc., that you would need to succeed in a software engineering role.
Great. Several questions on project managers. Are you hiring any project manager interns? Are there any project manager positions coming open? Let me scan down through here. I think that was it on the project managers. Can you answer that?
We don't have any right now, but we do have a spot on our website where you can fill out a general application. So if something like that comes up, you can always fill out that general application. We'll go through those resumes at a later date when those positions do come open, and we can kind of see who's applied and contact you then. So if you don't see what you're looking for on the website, regardless of what position it is, definitely fill out that general application because we look at those as we're opening new roles.
Great. We have a person looking for business development roles. What's the best way to apply and also compete for those sales jobs?
Yeah, so I can speak to this one. Yes, so we do have business development positions open. Internally, we refer to it as sales development. So there's kind of two routes you can potentially take. One is the sales development role, which is mainly geared towards individuals that do have some prior sales experience. But if you, like James said, we're looking for smart people that can get things done. So if you have a high aptitude, we do bring people coming out of college quite frequently into that role. It's a great entry position into SaaS sales, and you're able to gain experience quickly and have, they're great leaders there, Art Yuen and Ruby Earl and others that are leading out those teams. So yes, we do have some BDR positions available.
What's the best way to compete for those? I know we posted the job link there, but is there other ways that you would recommend a sales rep to compete?
Yeah, so in sales, it's how you stand out. It's being able to make the right impression. So, I encourage you to reach out to the hiring manager, individuals on the team, get some intel. It's always good to understand, what is required of the role, and then coming into the interview, you're going to be much more prepared and ready to put yourself up as a good contender or candidate, I should say.
Yeah, just to add to that, like an inside scoop, I would say definitely practice your sales presentation skills and practice selling something. It doesn't have to be software, but just making sure that you know what a sales cycle looks like and how you would sell something. And I think that really helps for some of those more entry-level roles. Of course, as you get into like corporate and enterprise sales, we'll want you to present another software solution or something along those lines. But definitely just practice your basic sales skills and be able to present to us. And that'll definitely help you stand out in the interview process.
Great. We've got several questions, and it looks like people are wondering what is the possibility of doing maybe apprenticeship programs for like maybe entry-level engineers or junior developers. Do we mentorship help people along? What does that look like?
Sure. I can answer that to a certain degree. So we don't have specifically like a junior engineer position or an apprenticeship position, but when you do get hired on, it's like if you pass the interviewing bar, when you get hired on, we have a mentor who will work with you. And we find that for the first 6 weeks, like you'll be utilizing that mentor a lot, getting into a big code base and understanding where things are and working through the, changing the code, making a commit, getting it through code review, making sure it's released in production appropriately. Like that sort of thing really helps to have a mentor to help guide you through that. And the mentor is useful for pretty much anything in it. Like, hey, where's this? Here's this part of the code base. I don't know what I'm doing, or what's this technology, or what are some resources that I can, where are places that I can find resources rather about these different technologies, those sorts of things. And these often form long-lasting like work relationships. My mentor, I was great friends with, and still am great friends with, and it's been a great experience to be able to kind of have that long-term relationship with somebody at the company. And so, yeah, that's kind of what we do. Is there's not specifically a junior engineer role or apprenticeship role, but there is plenty of mentoring. And beyond the specific mentor role, we do have courses multiple times a year on intro to, TypeScript in our front-end development environment, intro to Scala, intro to kind of more of our CSS stuff, intro to security and how to write secure code and various things like that will go on throughout the year.
Great, thank you. We've had several questions about working remote, and not just now, but even after COVID. And there have been questions on sales positions and other positions.
Yeah, I can take that, and then McLean, maybe you can talk a little bit more about sales specifically, but we're working from home through at least the end of the year. We'll give our employees about a month's notice before they'll come back. We do like to have our employees working together and collaborating, and for some of the sales positions, we want people to get mentorship there face to face. And so a lot of our positions will go back into the office, and then some roles will have more of a flexible schedule where they'll get a couple days from home. And I don't know if you have anything to add to that, McLean, but yeah, we do have a plan to kind of have sort of a flexible schedule and work a couple days from home in the future. But that might look different for sales just due to mentorship and kind of working through the sales cycle face to face with your leader.
Yeah, I'll just add, like what Jana was saying, with the sales being a team sport, a team environment, we find that individuals that are able to get together, work together, learn together, thrive. And so that's one of the challenges working from home. We've actually done quite well. We've learned a lot about working from home and being able to collaborate remotely. But there is a human aspect and a camaraderie that is built when a team is together, working together towards a common goal that can never be fully replicated at home. So we look forward to, some teams are going to be on site, and then there are going to be some flexible schedules with certain sales teams, but more to come on that. But we're actually, as a sales leadership team and as a team, we look forward to being together, working together, and moving the business forward.
Yeah, I think I've heard that almost every single day when we're working from home, that a lot of our sales reps can't wait to be back together. I think we have just a couple more minutes.
Yeah.
If we have like maybe one or two questions.
Sure. I've got several people looking for UX designer jobs. Anything coming up there?
Yeah, absolutely. We have a role open now. We have some UX leadership positions that are coming open as well. But yeah, definitely those are posted on the website. And if you're looking for a different level of UX, then just put your application in the general application. We'll take a look at that as it comes in.
Great. And how about legal and then even real estate and facility management?
We don't have anything in facilities right now, but we might in the future. We do have a procurement role that's open in legal. If that's not posted, it will be by the end of the week. So we do have that position as well. It doesn't require that you have a law degree, so it's a procurement level position, but we are looking for that position.
Perfect. We have someone looking for accounting and finance. Anything coming up there?
Yes, yeah, we're looking for an FP&A manager, and again, that one should be posted. If not, it should be coming open soon. And that's kind of our only position right now that we have in the finance department. But as we grow the team in 2021, there will be some additional roles that will open up there.
Perfect. And we're almost up to time. I'm just going to throw out these last two: human resources and sales operations and sales support.
We are looking for sales ops and sales support, I believe. There's some positions there that are posted. Nothing in human resources at the moment, but that will change in 2021 again as well. So just kind of toward the end of the year. But we're always looking for great people. We want to network with you. So please, still fill out that general application, connect with us on LinkedIn. We'd love to chat with you.
Perfect. And I lied. There's one more. Sorry, I missed this one. Product marketing, product management, and Scrum Master. Anything there?
James, I don't believe so, right?
No, not that I'm aware of at the moment. We oftentimes have product management positions open. I don't believe we have any open at the moment, but keep an eye out. They do open up. Okay,
wonderful. Well, thank you so much. We are right up at our time. We appreciate everybody joining us here today, and hopefully we will all see all of you soon. Thanks.
Yes, thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.